Hi guys, it is story time. I made a massive mistake with my Carradina tank. Oh look, there's some zebra Baubaultis stretching to try to molt. I really apologize for the glare and the ridiculous focusing. This is just my iPhone. But this is my Carradina tank. I have blue bolts in this tank, and I have zebra Baubaultis, which have to be my favorite shrimp. And they're my most challenging shrimp. They're very difficult for me to breed, and I don't know why. There's not a lot of literature out there or information that says what works best for breeding them. There's information that says that you can breed them in harder water, and there's information that says that you can breed them in softer water, and that would make sense because they're a Carradina species. Okay, but let's talk about my humongous mistake and what happened. And we've been remodeling our home, and so that's been a massive project, and that's essentially why I haven't been posting. But I wanted to share this story so that you guys can avoid hopefully making the same mistake. Okay, so one of my last videos on this tank was that I had, I believe, 2 buried blue bolts. One was going to be releasing her babies soon, and this is actually one of the babies. I don't know if you can see. I wish you could see the parents, but this one looks pretty light. Hopefully she gets bluer, he or she. This is another one. So they are pretty small. And they're about a month old now. So let me tell you what happened. There's a YouTuber called Mark's Aquatics. And you may know him. I really enjoy watching his content. He is a YouTuber in Britain, I believe. I think Britain. And he does a lot of like natural stuff, and you know, what can you get from the environment that can more mimic it, you know, your shrimp eating naturally and being in a more natural environment, which is honestly the goal for my tanks. I have more than one tank, but for shrimp. So he did a video a while back on feeding natural foods, and one of the natural foods was, I don't know what he called it, but it is dandelion, you know. And this is that type of plant that gets that round white fluffy thing on the top whenever it sprouts. It is a weed, and then you could blow on it and then they go everywhere. That's dandelion. So he did a video that showed that you can feed dandelion to your shrimp tanks. Just blanch the plant, obviously take the root off, but blanch the plant, dry it out, and you can feed the leaves to your shrimp. I don't know if I didn't watch that video carefully, and didn't follow the directions 100% carefully, but I forgot that my husband ordered exterminating to be done, and I think there were chemicals that were still left on the plant, and these shrimp are super sensitive. That was the only thing that I did different on my tank. I put like 1 or 2 dandelion leaves in my tank. One evening, next evening, these shrimp were like belly up on their sides, barely moving their legs. I did lose 1 blue bolt, and I lost 1 zebra Baubaulti. And the zebra Baubaulti was a buried female. It was awful because it's taken me forever to try to get them to even bury up the zebra Baubaultis. I'm having better success with the blue bolts. I do have a buried female blue bolt, luckily. I don't know when she's going to drop her babies or her shrimplets, but so just be careful. Do your research. if something is working for you really well, you should probably stick with it. And yeah, it's okay to try new things. I encourage it, but just make sure that you do your research. You know, use common sense. I screwed up big time. And so let me tell you what I did to fix it and to stop the death of the rest of the tank. I wish I had taken a lot of video, but it was a chaotic situation when it was happening. I did a massive water change. I got the dandelion out of the tank, the dandelion leaves out, and I did a 50% water change, and that's always a risk because Caridina shrimp specifically are really sensitive to parameter changes, TDS changes, GH, KH changes, and so I use RO water and salty shrimp, GH, which is for B shrimp. And my TDS I keep around 1 when I do water changes. Just in general, I keep my TDS in my tank around 125, which I think is a GH of around, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think maybe 4 or 5, I think. And the KH is like 0 to 1. So anyway, I did a massive water change, and luckily I saved the rest of my shrimp. But I did lose most of the babies. I think I have 3 babies that are now about a month old. And obviously you can see one of them here. Forgive the glare and the focus. But they're really light. And here's one of the adults, so you can see the size difference. They're so cute. But yeah, the other thing is that I do feed mulberry leaves that I grow naturally in my yard. They are not in the ground, they are in planters. They're in big planter containers, so they're self-contained, so the exterminators aren't going to get to it. I personally don't want to do exterminating, but well, we have a rat problem in the backyard, and it's my fault from feeding freaking birds, which I still want to feed my birds. My husband is like, you gotta knock it off because these rats are like taking over control. It's like it's like party time every evening about 10 o'clock in our backyard, and along our fence that separates us from the house behind us. It's just they're like running back and forth, having a party, like food central. So I had to get rid of my bird feeding. That was awful. Anyway, this is going on and on. So the story is be careful with what you do, with what you feed. I feed a lot of Shrimp King by Dennerly, Shrimp King. This happens to be mineral, but I feed Shrimp King complete pellets. I feed a lot of mulberry leaves from my yard. They devour in like a day or two. There's a YouTuber called, I think her name is Christina, but her YouTube channel is Shrimp Life, and she's in Canada, and I buy a lot of stuff from her. And this is actually a sample pack of some of her foods. And there's like spinach, there's mulberry, there's walnut, there's dandelion. I forget what the yellow one is. But I get my snow from her, or snowflake. In fact, I'm out. But that's this stuff right here, which is essentially, I believe, soybean husks. I could be wrong. But they love that. Anything they can graze on that creates biofilm. I also feed, I feed everything. I just change it up. Whatever they like, I feed. But they love even like a flake, you know, a really good quality freshwater flake. This is what I feed my fish, but they even love this, especially the little ones, you know, the little crumbles that you get at the bottom of the container. You know, I'll feed that. But yeah, I screwed up, and I just wanted to share the story so that maybe you guys could avoid making the same mistake. And I know that I am when I start feeding too much because I get too many snails, which is kind of what's happening. But I've got babies I've got survivors, so I just want to make sure that everyone's fed. I feed about once a day, at least once a day. And yeah, the tank is coming along. I'm lucky that it didn't wipe out my whole colony. There's another, I believe, buried female, luckily. And I'm waiting on one of my Caridina zebra Baubaultis to bury up. Comment below if you have any questions. Let me know. Thanks for watching, and thanks for letting me babble on. I'm sorry that this was a babbling video, but I wanted to share my story. All right, have a great weekend. Bye.